We're ready to start. Welcome to Busan's third annual performance of the Vagina Monologues. I just have a few reminders before we get started. First, vinyl will remain smoke-free for the duration of the performance, so if you need to smoke, go outside. We also have vagina cookies for sale over here with the lovely Jillian. There will be no intermission, but there will be a short presentation about halfway through, at which point you're welcome to stretch your legs, get a drink, whatever. We just ask that you please be respectful to the woman who's up here doing the presentation. Please turn off your phones. Prepare to be enlightened and entertained. If something is funny, please laugh. Don't worry, we feed off of your energy. Give it to us. All right. On behalf of Vita International, myself, April Simpson, our director, Jen Sotham, and our incredible cast, welcome to the Vagina Monologues.
That one still gets me every time, even though I've seen it every week for the past 2 months. Right. So, that one was a little intense, so we're going to give you a moment to take a breather, and I'm going to tell you about why we're here today. This is a time where you can get up and buy vagina cookies, go to the bathroom if you need to, go outside and have a cigarette if you need to, but I would please ask you to be quiet so that everyone can still hear my presentation about where the money from this year's Vagina Monologues is going to. Okay, so the shelter that we are giving 90% of our proceeds to, 10% goes to the women and children of Haiti. The other 90% is going to a local shelter, a shelter in Busan called the Sejol Welfare Corporation. This is a shelter that was started by a woman, Lee Sung-yeol, and she opened a counseling clinic in Busan 20 years ago. One of her first clients was a woman who had had her face burned by a pressure cooker by her husband. This was her first exposure to domestic violence in Busan, and so Lee Sung-yeol took out money personally to get an apartment for this woman and her child so that they wouldn't have to go back to the abusive home. However, more and more women kept coming to her, and soon she realized that something needed to happen. She needed to set up something more permanent and sustainable for these women. So she traveled around the world finding out how other countries take care of women like this, and eventually was able to start a shelter that became what is Sejol Welfare Corporation today. So, today, Sejol Welfare Corporation is a very large operation. It consists of 3 main parts. One is Nurum Shelter. This is a shorter term shelter for victims of domestic violence and their children. And so women are able to come and stay for 3 to 6 months there. Then another part of Nurum Shelter is a shelter for younger women who are victims of sexual violence. And so those women are able to come and live at the shelter as well. They are able to stay there until they are 18. Sometimes if the young women only have the place of violence to go back to, they are able to stay for longer. And then also, there is a longer-term shelter for victims of domestic violence as well. That's the Goje shelter. And at that shelter, women are able to stay for up to 2 years. And then there are finally 26 group homes that the women can move to as a transitional place for getting reintegrated into society and for moving back into society and having a job again. All of these shelters offer psychological treatment, therapy, job counseling, many different kinds of treatment for these women on their road to recovery. All right, so now to talk about how the money will help this shelter. There was a new law enacted in 2011 that has drastically cut the funding for the shelter. It is a law that now states that married women are no longer allowed to receive welfare, which is what many of these women were receiving, unless they received the check at their husband's address.
Boo!
So all of these women who were previously getting welfare while they were in the shelter, about 90% of the women no longer have any funding. If they were still eligible for it before they went into the shelter, as soon as they moved to the shelter, all of the funding gets cut and they can no longer receive it. So this was money that the shelter was using for food, toiletries, just basic living expenses, and all of that money is gone now. So the money that we have been raising through the V-Day campaign is going to help pay for those basic expenses, for their food, for their toiletries, and also for doctor's expenses. There are a couple women who have recently just had babies that are living at the shelter, and so there have been a lot of costs for the newborn infants and the doctor stays and things like that. So the money will also be going to help pay for those expenses. Okay, so all of the money is going to very real needs for these women, and so I would just like to thank all of you for being here, because your support for V-Day, your support for the things that we're doing here is impacting their lives in very real ways and is allowing these women to be able to live in a violence-free environment, and it's allowing them to see that it's possible for them to survive and to thrive without violence in their life. And so we're so thankful for everyone who is here today and for all of your support. If you would like more information about the shelters, you can come see me, Tegan, after the show, or you can check out the Busan Volunteer Facebook page. You can get information from that. And the next one. And finally, we would like to thank Lisa Ngyol and all of the women who work at the shelter, all of the staff, one who is here today. We would like to thank you for all of your amazing work, tirelessly, to help these women have a violence-free life. All right, so thank you everyone again, and you will have and there's a donation box over here if you would like to come give us some more donations, and Dana will be there with the donation box, and there are also vagina cookies for sale over here. There will be 5 minutes, and then we will start the second half of the show. Thank you.
good. Okay. Before we move on to the raffle, we'd like to take a few minutes to express our gratitude to some of the people who have helped us out these last few months. First, Donga Kim for allowing us to have this space, providing giving us all of these chairs, and his enormous role in helping the expat community to have a voice in the city of Busan. For handing me their keys for 2 months so we can rehearse in their space. They basically just said yes to everything that I asked and provided us with Bloody Mary mix every Sunday. To Eva, for being so accommodating, especially Friday night's Voices for Vaginas performance. I don't know if you saw it.
And today's lunch in between performances.
Awesome lunch in between performances. To Wayne at Wolfhound for turning his acoustic showdown into a V-Day event. And being so generous to the cause. Bobby McGill and the staff of Busan Hats for giving us a forum to spread the word.
To all the other businesses that have donated to the raffle, including Fully Booked, Old 55, Sukasa, Shabana, Bewitched, Blue Monkey, Foxy, The Basement, Sharkies, and the Busan Expat Sailing Club. To the lovely Crystal, Jillian, and Melanie who baked up delicious treats for us. To our tireless volunteer coordinator, Dana Porter, and her crew of ladies who have done everything from postering to prize collecting to ushering and ticket selling. You have made our lives infinitely easier. To Rob, Yvonne. To Rob, Yvonne, our incredible sound man. Who has given us so much time and energy and who allowed you to hear our voices clearly.
To Dwayne Stores and all of the V-Men for last weekend's performance. I don't know if you saw it, it was amazing. They did a wonderful job and they have been a necessary part of V-Season. Please, a round of applause for yourselves, our audience, our community who have made this V-Season such a success.
To our cast, whose dedication, enthusiasm, and personal investment has turned this experience into something way more than just a stage performance. Here it comes. Over the course of the last few months, the bond that has formed between us is astonishing. And I think I could speak for each of us when I say that we have all achieved a whole new level of self-awareness and awareness of what it means to be a woman. I love you guys.
And finally, to our men. Yeah, man! Yeah! This performance is about women, certainly, but we cannot and do not forget about the men. You are our coworkers, boyfriends, lovers, brothers, fathers, and friends. We appreciate your caring, love, and support more than words can possibly express. Please give a round of applause for all the men who have made a point of being here today to show their solidarity and help us in our fight to erase the violence and injustice against women that exist in our world. Thank you. We hope you enjoyed the show, and now we're going to do the raffle.
All right.